Welcome to The Eclectic, where history, folklore, and the strange corners of the human story collide, where the past still burns and the echoes of it whisper through our time. I'm your host, and tonight we're going to stand in the firelight among the drums, the smoke, and the ghosts of those who came before. Because every November, in one small town in England, the dead are remembered, the guilty are forgiven, and the flames still rise. This is Fire and Faith, the Lewes Bonfire. I love Bonfire Night, always have. There's something about November, the darkness, the smell of smoke, the cold air biting at your fingertips. I know not everyone loves it. My cat certainly doesn't. But for me, there's something ancient about it. Something that feels alive. The firelight against the black sky, the sound of the crackling wood, the echo of drums through the streets. And there's one place where that fire burns brighter than anywhere else. Lewes, a small town in East Sussex, that turns every November 5th into something extraordinary. To understand Lewes, you have to go back, way back, to the man who lit the fuse, Guy Fawkes. Born in York, 1570, the second of 4 children, Catholic on his mother's side, and that alone was dangerous. You see, in England at that time, religion was everything, and it divided the country like a wound. Henry VIII had broken with Rome. The Pope had been replaced by the King, and everyone who refused to fall in line risked prison, torture, or worse. Guy's father died when he was just 8. His mother remarried into a Catholic family, and that faith, that defiance, became part of him. He grew up angry, idealistic, and ready to fight. Fast forward to 1604. Fawkes meets a man named Robert Catesby and a handful of others in a tavern called the Duck and Drake. Their plan? To end Protestant rule by blowing up the Houses of Parliament. They smuggled 36 barrels of gunpowder into a cellar beneath the House of Lords on the morning of November 5th, 1605. The King, his son, the Lords, the Commons, all would be gone in fire. But fate has a way of betraying zealots. An anonymous letter warned Lord Monteagle not to attend Parliament that day. The authorities searched, and just after midnight they found him, Guy Fawkes, alone in the dark, surrounded by gunpowder. He was arrested, tortured, broken. When asked why he planned to do it, he said, "To blow you Scotch beggars back to your native mountains." No apologies, no denial. He was executed on January 31st, 1606, hung, drawn, and quartered. And London celebrated. Bonfires were lit in the streets, thanking God and King James for survival. That was the birth of Bonfire Night, a national day of fire and warning. But in Lewes, the flames told a different story, because half a century earlier, under another monarch, Mary Tudor, known to history as Bloody Mary, fire had already come to this quiet town. Between 1555 and 1557, 17 Protestant men and women were burned alive in Lewes, refusing to renounce their faith. Their names are still remembered. Thomas Harland, a carpenter from Woodmancote, John Oswald, a shoemaker, Thomas Reed and Thomas Avington, labourers, Derek Carver, a brewer from Brighton, John Launder, a farmhand from Stenning, Thomas Iverson from Heathfield, Anne Ashdown, a mother, and Richard Woodman, an ironmonger and preacher from Warbleton. Others too, William Maynard, James Morris, George Clover, and several whose trades and families are lost to record, but their names are carried in the smoke each year when 17 burning crosses move through the streets. It's a ritual of light and memory, each flame for a life ended in fire, each step for those who refuse to bow. The bonfire here isn't just for Guy Fawkes, it's for them too, the martyrs, the stubborn, the faithful, the defiant. And if you stand in the high street near the War Memorial, you'll find a small stone bearing their names. But behind those carved letters are stories, stories that once set this town alight. Take Richard Woodman, an ironmonger, a man of faith and fire. He argued with his priest in the middle of a sermon, said the church had lost its way. For that, he was dragged before the bishop, imprisoned for nearly 3 years, and finally condemned. On the 22nd of June, 1557, they led him to the stake here in Lewes, bound him beside 9 others. Witnesses said he prayed aloud as the flames rose, and that his voice carried above the crackling wood until it didn't. And then there was Derek Carver, the brewer from Brighton. They say that when the flames took him, he held a Bible close to his chest and prayed that his soul would burn clean and rise to heaven like smoke. His friends said the wind carried his words across the crowd. When the bonfires burn in Lewes now, when the crosses pass through the streets, it isn't just commemoration, it's connection, a bridge of fire through centuries. Their names are still spoken, 500 years on, carried through Lewes in torchlight as the night burns gold once more. The Lewes bonfire is chaos and choreography. 7 societies, each with its own colours, banners and traditions. The Cliff, Borough, Waterloo, Southover, Commercial Square, Neville Juvenile and South Street. Thousands of torches, drums echoing off old brick, barrels of flaming tar rolling through the streets. In the 1800s, these celebrations were wild, violent even. Anti-Catholic banners, "No Popery" chants, effigies of the Pope burned at the stake. The magistrates tried to stop it once. The crowd threw a flaming barrel into the river instead. Lewes doesn't take kindly to being told to behave. Fire does something to us. It mesmerises, it cleanses, it consumes. The Celts knew this thousands of years ago. During Samhain, they lit great fires to guide spirits and protect the living. When Christianity arrived, those fires didn't go out. They just changed names. Samhain became All Hallows Eve, and eventually Bonfire Night. Different faiths, same fire, a light against the dark. Lewes carries that same heartbeat, ancient, defiant, sacred. When you stand in that crowd, it feels like standing in the very centre of history. Today, up to 80,000 people crowd into Lewes, a town of just 17,000. Each society lights its own bonfire on the hills. The flames rise, glowing against the black sky. Effigies of modern villains join Guy Fawkes and the Pope, politicians, dictators, anyone the year has cast in infamy. It's satire, but it's also catharsis, a way to burn the year's darkness down. And still, when those 17 crosses pass through the town, the noise fades, the laughter stills, and for a moment, everyone just watches, fire reflecting in their eyes, history whispering in the smoke. We burn because we remember and because we must. Lewes Bonfire isn't just a festival, it's a mirror. It shows us what we are when we gather together, the best and the worst of us glowing in the dark. Every flame tells a story of rebellion, of faith, of fear. And as I watch the fire burn down, I think of the martyrs, of Guy Fawkes, of all those who stood for something even as the flames closed in. Because in that flickering light, you can almost see them still. This has been The Eclectic, where story meets sound, where the past still whispers, and where sometimes the ghosts listen back.